Thanks for downloading this Little Empire podcast. This show has a real-life, live record event that you can come to in Auckland, New Zealand during the NZ International Comedy Festival powered by Flick Electric Co. Deets and tickets at comedyfestival.co.nz.
You gonna play that dastardly intro again?
Ow! This movie's still fine.
Zacole, pasta.
One of them dies, that guy's screw. One of them's a hottie, his name is Jay. One of them looks like Johnny Depp, and his name is Johnny Depp.
Classic Maximum Joseph.
You forget that films are supposed to have a point. Welcome to the worst idea of all time, episode number 40, with your main man, Tim Batt, reporting in from Auckland, New Zealand in the Little Empire Studios.
Also, somehow, your mainer man, me, Guy Montgomery, recording live in Melbourne, Victoria. And we are joined by a very special guest, our friend and yours, right next to me, sitting on an air mattress, wearing 3 times as many clothes. Tom Walker, ladies and gentlemen, come on down.
Oh, hello, it's me, the mainest man, currently sitting next to an underpants wearing, and that's all Guy Montgomery, who has admirably refused to get dressed for the duration of the entire movie.
It's been a good time. Hey, Tim, can I just say, whichever word I want to use,
Sure.
how are you going, man? Because I had the warm blanket of Tom Walker's company to keep me chipper throughout that screening, but we were worried about you.
Yeah, fucking awful, dude. It was not a good watch. It wasn't a healthy watch. It wasn't a fun watch for old Timbo. And now there's something about it. Guy, you and I are talking to each other through a telephone line, which anyone familiar with that ancient technology will remember talking on the telephone and that thin band of voice you get where it sounds like 2 corn cans connected by a piece of string, like a couple of kids in a treehouse. Not the regular audio fidelity we're used to being delivered when we're apart by Skype. Because we tried that, but the delay was entirely, unacceptable.
That's right. And I think what's important is those of you listening to this high-quality audio file understand just the exact context which led to the situation. So, Tom, you're our guest. And before we get started, can I just say, this is being recorded during the Melbourne Comedy Festival. You got nominated for the Big Kahuna, the Barry Award. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you, Guy.
It is so cool.
Are we ever going to be better than this?
Hey, that's the question we ask ourselves week in, week out. How was that movie for you? You've seen it before.
Yeah, I actually watched this. I'm a fan of the podcast, and I watched it when you guys announced that you were going to be watching We Are Your Friends. I watched it with my good friend and the best comedian in the world, Sam Campbell, when we were in Perth, because there's nothing else to do in Perth other than just get punched square in the head.
Oh, God, we've lost all our Perth listeners. Tom Walker, you son of a bitch. You got to keep it positive on this, bud.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll give you some more of that famous worst idea of all time positivity.
Yeah, that's right. Could you please?
But yeah, no, this is my second watch of the film, which pales in comparison to yours.
How was it watching it for the first time? If we can go back to that misty afternoon in Perth.
Sure. It was truly horrific. It's a heck of a movie because you think it's going to mean something initially, like it's just kind of like initially it's just a series of music videos and infographics, and then it suddenly turns into wanting to be a love story between 2 people who are as beautiful but as chemistryless as like Ken and Barbie dolls just being rubbed up against each other.
Yeah, now kiss.
Yeah, and then it ends with I will admit, the first time I watched it, I almost teared up at the ending song.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was that... What were the factors lending itself to that? I mean, it seems unlikely to me after you've just shat on the movie.
Can you also clarify which ending song you're talking about? Because I feel like, much like the Lord of the Rings films, there's a few false endings.
Yeah, for sure. Not the one
not
where...
Cole's track? Yeah,
no, the one that featured, among other things, the sound of a helicopter taking off. That famous banger.
Yeah.
Which I will assume is called Are We Ever Going to Be Better Than This?
I think it's called Cole's Song. And then
I think it's called Cole's Dream. Bro, I would have to look that. Anyway, is that the one you're talking about, Tom?
Yes, it
made
is.
You tear up?
Yeah,
what the fuck, man?
I don't know, man. I'm just super suggestible. If you tell me to feel something, I'll do it.
Wow. Hey, how did you cope the first time around with the death of Squirrel then?
Oh, man. I was overjoyed that something was happening, but very sad that it happened to him, because that would mean that I had to watch more of that dang Johnny Depp feeling and emotion.
Could you maybe, for context, grade Fuck Boys 1 through 4 from least favourite? Or no, we'll start at 4, so least favourite to favourite.
Certainly. I think my least favourite would be Johnny Depp, certainly.
Oh, man, that guy.
Just the greasiest looking dude. He's like... I can feel what a handshake with him would feel like just from looking at his face. And it would be limp, damp, and also he'd be looking over my shoulder.
He painted such a despondent handshake so economically.
And then after that, of course, Jarhead. After Jarhead, I think would be Cole, but coming in first would be Squirrel, as he, like me, shows a complete distaste for the boys and the activities of the film.
It's interesting that you've got Zacole above Jarhead. What's your ranking, Tim? I'd say it's probably pretty similar to Tom's.
Johnny Depp at the top in terms of my fave. Then we're gonna
not a sentence you hear much anymore, given recent events.
Take a little dive down, and we'll get into Squirrel territory, coming in at Tim's number 2. Fuckboy number 3 has probably got to be Jarhead for me, and then Zacole coming in dead last, and by quite a mile.
I feel like you're just being a contrarian here. I know.
Absolutely not. I'm basing that off this week's watch, and I scribbled down a couple of notes on a post-it note, and I tell you what, Johnny Depp shone through for me this week, without question.
Could you please list the ways in which Johnny Depp shone through? Because I got to say, on this side of the Tasman, he was having a pretty rough outing.
Yeah, he did not fare well in front of this studio audience. The air mattress clique has really badly reviewed him.
Yeah, man. If you get a bad review from the air mattress clique, that can be a career destroyer.
The air mattress feels like kind of a great leveler to review movies on. You know, because when you go to the flicks, you can be in a real comfy chair and people are serving you wine and stuff if you go to one of those like special event screenings of something. And you always get those reviewers, I think, who get real won over by that stuff and easily manipulated. But if you're on an air mattress, it's like, right, it's you in the film. This is going to be an honest appraisal.
If you want an objective way to watch a movie, may I recommend watching Guy Montgomery try to rent that movie on Google Play, realize that he can't remember his Google Gmail password.
Why do we have to keep going through
illegally
this,
streaming it on a website on an air mattress in his underpants, and then use my email as his recovery email to get sent a code so he can reset his password?
Look, I tell you,
he really strips away all the glamour of showbiz.
The fucking rigmarole of this podcast, man.
I thought you guys would be so much better than this at the act of having the movie available.
I woke up at 5 to 9 and was like, fuck, Tom's nearly here. Walked outside on the balcony in front of the apartment and saw Tom walking down the street. It was like, hey, man. Just let him in. And then, made no effort, extended no luxuries to make it an enjoyable experience. I gave him a hot cross bun without butter.
Did you have the Russian subtitle version again this time around, Guy?
Nah, man, it was all in English. Real smooth sailing, real good times.
Do you think, was it the same cut, or did you notice, was there some different shit in there?
Look, from what I could tell,
what I could tell,
yeah, it was the same movie that I've grown to know so well.
This is your 40th watch, bud.
Yeah, man.
You should have been able to tell if there was a pixel out of place on that screen.
Nah. It's all good, dude. We all watched the same movie, which I think is what makes it so intriguing that you enjoyed Johnny Depp's performance this week. What got you? What did he do?
Well, this is my shining light this week. It's a moment that we've definitely talked about extensively in the past, but this week I loved it, and it was when they come to pick up Zacole from the party that James Reed from The Feelers has enlisted Zacole to play at, where he amps up the crowd and explains how tempo works. And when Johnny Depp goes, actually, we've met before, we promote at Social on Thursdays, I was like, yes, boy, asserting dominance. I love it. This week it spoke to me. And in previous weeks, we've chastised the dude for this maneuver because it's like, it's not greasing the wheels of social cohesion. He's not just taking a bow down and being selective with what points he wants to bring up, choosing his battles and what he wants to correct James Reed from the field is a much higher status character than him on. But this week I was like, fuck yeah, bro. You got to fight for your position in this life. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And there you are, showing him who's boss. And then he's so goddamn satisfied by his own, power grab that he rewards himself with a little toke off that vape. And I loved it this week.
Yeah.
It was great.
He toots on his little flute. Man, I could not disagree with you more. That guy has no social grace or skills. It was a disaster zone from woe to go. Tom, I feel like you're the tiebreaker here.
I gotta go with you, Guy. I am entirely in favor of hating the Johnny Depp character. I think he's a blight upon the twisted landscape that is We Are Your Friends. And I'd be happy if no offense to the actor, but I really hope he never gets work again.
Johnny Weston is the captain of Hollywood. I'm naming him as such. You can put that on a poster, and I'm pretty hopeful that I've got the right name. I hope that's Johnny Weston, eh?
The actor?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you don't know the King of Hollywood's name does not bode well for the kingdom, does it? I gotta say, the monarchy is crumbling. Or the ship is sinking. Whatever you're trying to do, it's not working. The boy's no good.
Hey, you know what else I noticed in that scene this week? When he's at the party and Somali comes up with what is perceivably rosé, and Zacole goes, "What is that rosé?" and he drinks it. How fucking flat is that soda water, bro? I had to look at it because she's like holding it up and he thinks it's rosé, and then she reveals it's soda water with a bit of cranberry. And I looked at it, not a fucking bubble in there. That is uncarbonated. It has gone rancidly flat.
How long does it take for a fizzy drink to go flat? I mean, can that happen over 30 minutes, an hour, if it's in a big open vessel?
If you stir it with a spoon, it'll happen in a matter of a minute, probably.
I mean,
but you got to do it, and it's like, why wouldn't she just pick another drink if she's so desperate to convince everyone she's drinking rosé or not? Or why doesn't she just own her truth and just drink bubbly? There's probably carbonated rosé anyway. I'm just a lot of questions, bro.
It's really coming through that you watched the film alone, Tim.
I'm going to take that in the harshest terms possible, which is pretty damning because it's by default a pretty mean thing to say, I think.
What can I say? The air mattress clique, we formed a bond.
Yeah.
Tom Walker, Australian comedian and beloved captain of comedy for the Tasman. I'm naming you an Anzac warrior of humour. What do you make of the kind of genre shape-shifting nature of this film? Do you see it as an ambitious attempt to serve all people at once, or a misguided attempt to kind of pick up a lot of things but sort of not put them in their correct places in the shelf?
This film is a mishmash of genres and sounds and characters and scenes. It is weird because it feels like it tries to seduce you into thinking it's going to be Entourage and then takes several right turns into like, is it Entourage? Is it House of Lies, perhaps? Is it like just a fun way to learn about music? And how a bard from Dungeons and Dragons might affect the spell of inspiration via a lute onto your compatriots. But to be honest, the main thing that I can't stop coming back to about this movie, Tim, is that I started my day with it.
Yeah.
And I spent
it's a real
$30 on an Uber getting...
Oh, man. Where are you staying?
Over in Coburg.
Oh, dude.
I know. I got home last night and I looked up where this is for the first time and I was like, oh... No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Tom, we're gonna reimburse you on that, man.
Oh no, don't. This is exactly how
right.
I would want
No,
to be.
I think it's important that we don't, because it is important that you fully appreciate and understand just just an ongoing emotional and actual fiscal expense that is this stupid fucking.
We talked about this. We talked about this a little bit last week when we were on stage with the Bonus of the Heart Girls. It's kind of amazing that we have managed to pump out one of these,
man,
every week, because we've been in some tricky tight spots,
dude,
and we just kind of we're not good at this thing. We just kind of force it, and we throw money at the situation, and we make people do things, and it's not a good podcast.
I was talking to Tommy Dasilo, who is the co-host of also not a good podcast, the Little Dum Dum Club, and because I did their show yesterday, and I'd never done it before, and it's just like Australian comedians just denigrating one another for an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that was really, after the show, I was like, that was really fun. That was a really good time. And he's like, yeah, sure, it's fun to stop in and stuff, but it really does take a toll, like in full earnest, immediately after doing a great live record.
God.
And I was like, fuck. I was looking like in a mirror, and I was like, I know what you're talking about. Like, this is still the main constant in my life. This is the framework around which I organize weeks and years. And it's no longer welcome.
I think I speak for everyone when I say I'm very worried about you guys. And didn't Paul F. Tompkins take you aside?
Yeah, he was like, he's like, hey, it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of good times, a lot of memories made, but don't do it again because you're young. And listen to our strained and grizzled voices now. I
want to throw a question at Tom, if I may, Guy.
Yeah, help yourself.
This movie's still fine. Dear person listening, I'm interrupting this podcast to inform you that the NZ International Comedy Festival, powered by Flick Electric Co, is on April 27 through till May 21. Hundreds of shows, some of them featuring the very podcast host you were listening to moments ago before I interrupted. Go and see all the shows and buy tickets for the shows at comedyfestival.co.nz, where all the show details are. Please and thank you. And now back to your show. This movie's still you brought up this kind of Dungeons and Dragons metaphor before. I would love for you to go through the 4 fuck boys and distribute the kind of like what's that matrix that you put
the classes? Oh, chaotic, neutral to
you got it.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put Zacole as neutral good. He does what he wants. He does the right thing under the circumstances. He leaves his shoebox of money under the bed.
Yeah, but he cheats on his friends. He cheats on his friend's with his friend's partner.
Yeah, but he's seen him cheat on her, and love will out.
Love will out.
Won't love.
What's love will out mean?
Love will out. Love is capable of outing.
I see. So you believe
Johnny Depp? Do Johnny Depp next.
Oh, absolutely neutral evil. There's nothing authoritative or interesting and spontaneous about him. Johnny Depp is absolutely the kind of guy who would receive a low-level role on a made-for-Netflix movie and then immediately be pulled because of a scandal.
That is a very specific reference, but like...
Can't you see it?
I can. I absolutely can. And it would be something to do with like drug dealing, but in the least sexy way possible. Like, he got
busted selling Ritalin to people.
Exactly.
Who were trying to
That's
remember
what
their
is.
lines.
Yeah.
I would say Jarhead is a chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I'd say
He's
Squirrel
the
is a
best.
lawful good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I got too invested in doing it accurately, and I cut off any potential for bits or riffs.
No. I think it's important to treat different parts of the podcast with different gloves, and the serious gloves that you just put on to manhandle our D&D segment.
Let me just suck all the fun out of your question, Tim, and return it to you, a dry analysis of the mechanics of a role-playing game.
I couldn't have asked for better, Tom. I asked a question, you delivered me the answer.
Yeah,
I still want to challenge the morality of Zacole. I don't think that he is a good character. I think he shows a weak mental constitution, he knows that he's doing bad in his job. You see him take the $15,000 after they reamed Tanya Romero.
It's so funny having you criticize this man while again shirtless on an air mattress.
Well, look, I think some of the best criticisms, across all art often come from shirtless people on air mattresses. And the sooner
Just look at John Lennon.
Yeah, the sooner a lot of people don't know
this is
that
our
big,
Lovin'.
the Lovin' was on an air mattress.
Are you the John Lennon and Yoko Ono of our time? You two right now?
I would love to think so. What does that make you, Paul McCartney?
I unfortunately, I wish I was Paul McCartney. I'm more of a Ringo. Just sort of, everyone's like, why is he even there?
Who cast themselves as Ringo in their own narrative?
I'm not,
and the fact
well, I'm
that
just...
you're still doing this podcast is so indicative of self-esteem issues, Tim. We're all worried. The red flags are here.
Yeah.
I've just watched We Are Your Friends by myself. I'm not in a great mental space. I don't feel so good about who I am.
Was there?
But
were there any? Well, did you swear at the screen at any point, or did you at least smile at any point? Were there any sort of
Nothing.
flashes of emotion, or was it just dead?
no, everything was internal. There was no expending energy to try and communicate how I was feeling to an empty room. Which is bad, I think, because
that's bad.
Man.
Like
that thing where if you force yourself to smile or laugh, you kind of trick your body physiologically to feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think I could have done with a bit of that. So if I had have tried to force it a bit more and grin at certain moments and maybe do a little dance during some of those pumping dance music numbers, I would have felt better about things. But I just couldn't do it on week 40. It's too much to ask. I did notice something though, Guy. I want to put it to you that Zacole gets robbed in this movie of any funny moments whatsoever. Like, there is not a single joke or anything he's allowed to deliver. Because my mind did a lot of wandering, and I thought to myself, I've seen Zac Efron and stuff. He's super funny. He's got great comic timing. Dude knows how to deliver a joke. I don't think there is a single point in We Are Your Friends where they have entrusted him to deliver some humor. Would I be right in saying that?
I think the closest he comes, the flash of personality, is when James Reed from the Feelers is like, "Did you fuck her?" and punches him, and then Zacole, he's like, "Did you fuck her?" and then Zacole does the eyebrow raise, which just suggests at least an awareness of comedy dynamics. But outside of that, I think you're right. He's just super, I guess, and maybe he's been cast as such because the character of Zacole is just one of those really good-looking people who never had to develop a personality.
Yeah. Guy, can we lie
Tom
down?
Walker, the gender politics of Zac Efron being robbed of comedy. Go.
Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, me and Guy are just lying down next to each other because we've been sitting up in bed and the time has come to strip this of all pretense.
Yeah. Oh, this is so
This is so nice.
Great picture painting, by the way. I feel like I'm right there with you. And I'm also glad I'm not.
Well, we wish you were, Tim, because we could really use another warm body to keep things heated in this air mattress. The thing with an air mattress, which I've found on this stay in Melbourne, is you don't get a lot of heat coming up from underneath you. So if you can get another person in there, that's something I'd recommend. Now, Tom, you're about to give your comic analysis of Zac Efron's performance as the character Cole Carter.
Sure, and it just, again, as a little bit of scene painting, Guy and I are sharing one set of headphones between two people, so our heads are next to each other. Like, we're basically sharing a bed the same way that two adorable puppies would. And just like slightly, our elbows are touching, and we're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Me fully clothed, and Guy all but naked.
This is undoubtedly one of the weirder recording experiences across 3 seasons.
Guy Montgomery has retained man's original pride in his body. He didn't adopt that feeling of shame after Eve ate the apple and we had to put fig leaves on our junk.
Yeah.
Guy's just like, you know what? God made this and it's a beautiful thing and he wants to show the world.
Do you know, that's probably true. I constantly feel, because as a 12 and 13-year-old, my favourite thing was walking around the house in my boxers, and I just don't think I ever grew out of that.
Certainly doesn't seem that way.
Well, I'm 28 now, and still rocking boxes. I got house guests over. We got into bed together, man.
I would say the closest thing Zac Efron gets to a joke in this movie in a few ways is, or like an actual spoken joke, is that the hilarious conjecture that the two men who degrade Somali are in fact homosexual with each other. And have they considered that? And I was talking to Kai, I was like, this completely ruins that scene. Like, it would be so much cooler if they just cut that line. It was just Zac Efron walking up, stands there silently for a second, and then just throws a punch. Instead, they're just like,
so
hey,
right.
Oh, you know what about this guy? He could have been a badass, but instead he's a casual homophobe.
They kept in a line of dialogue which turned it from like a heroic sort of defense of a woman's honor to a hate crime.
That's a hard thing to pull off, to like add a line of like one witty quip attempt and turn someone into a terrible person for an action that otherwise would have been seen as heroic.
It also doesn't reference the fact that they were talking about Somali at all. So it's just him walking up, saying that they're gay, and then him punching one of them in the face.
It does not look good in the lights of a court. It is not a good look for Zacole at all.
They were saying something about it. Well, then why didn't you reference that before assaulting that man? Instead of inquiring as to the logistics of their jerk-off sessions.
I think
the equitability.
Criminals, criminals could do a lot for their case by, just denoting in the court case, the reason I did this is this. Yeah. So you don't even need to be truthful, really. You could just say, look, these guys were saying bad stuff. I'm sure it happens a little bit, but I think it's a defense that should be used more.
Or just, especially at the scene of the crime, I feel like if you're robbing a bank, as you walk into the bank, just say out loud, well, I'm really poor, so I could really use some of this money. And then at least you've got...
accuse that. No,
put
stay
your hand,
on.
Yeah, you
stay
should put
on
your
point.
hand over your mouth and say, "Ooh, I'm the bank, and I've seen your girlfriend's breasts." And then you're like, "You all heard what the bank said. Give me your money, bank."
That's not even that offensive, though, Tom. That just seems like a bit of an observation that the bank's made.
Yeah, but that's that's what these guys said in the movie, and Zacole just fucking tees off on one of them with a sweet right.
Yeah, that's true. They do say that she failed out and that they would pay for the groceries for a week or two in reference to...
that's the thing, is they're not good guys.
I got myself in hot water last week for talking about this scene. I don't want a repeat of that, but I will. She's essentially putting herself, they are painting her into the corner of some sort of sex worker. By being employed by the person that she's romantically entangled with. I'm not saying that's what's happening. That's the corner they're painting her in. And Zacole comes up and... Man, you're so right. It'd be so much cooler if he was just in there, just looked at them both. They looked at him, and they're like, hey, dude. And then he just punched them without saying anything.
Yeah, if he
that'd be
punched
awesome.
both of them at the same time, one fist each, I think that would be the ideal.
Do you think, is it
Real
cooler to
sandwich.
punch two people with one fist each, or is it cooler to do one big punch which is powerful enough to get across two, like to smear two faces?
The follow-through carries you through to the other face.
Yeah.
Oh...
That's an incredible punch. I mean, we could add in Kung Fu to the genre mix if he did pull off a maneuver like that from his fist.
Well, there's some MMA and Muay Thai later on in the film, what Tom actually described as a judo throw.
That's correct.
It is. I did 2 years of judo. That's like one of the most common throws, guy.
It's a decision that was made correctly by the screenwriters to make James Reed from The Feelers embarrassed to know judo throws, and so after he performs judo, he will tell anyone who listens that it's Muay Thai or MMA in the hopes that they won't be smart enough to figure out it's just judo.
It's not one of the hugging martial arts.
Yeah.
Not the martial art that genuinely translates to the soft way.
Is that what
Is it
judo
really?
means?
I think so, yeah.
One of the hugging martial arts.
Yeah. It's like all of the grappling, because I've done like a bit of judo and a bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it's so great. Like I love them as sports and hobbies and stuff, but then also just you spend 100% of your time just hugging aggressively.
Listen, all fights are really, when they're not in the movies, are just like scratchy
That's true.
hugs.
That's true. Anyone who's seen or been involved in a real fight, particularly with two dudes, it's a lot of hugging. It's a lot of very intense hugging. And they don't show that in the films or in the TV, do they?
No, it just doesn't translate well. It doesn't play well.
I've got to take a quick break while we get a message from our sponsors. And Guy, I haven't discussed this with you, so I'll just take the lead on this if I may.
We've got a sponsor?
Oh, guys, congrats.
This week, the worst idea of all time is sponsored by the Walkout Boys, because neither of us have sponsors, so we've agreed to sponsor each other's podcasts. Walkout Boys is a great show with Nick Sampson and Joseph Moore.
I'm so against this.
Oh,
Fuck
all right,
those
guys,
clowns.
say your piece. You've interrupted the ad.
Look, I just don't think that we should pay the Walkout Boys any more. What they're doing is disrespectful to the beautiful medium of cinema, and for us to throw our mighty weight behind it as a concept.
What bit? What bit of them is being disrespectful?
The bit where they walk out of every movie halfway through.
You heard my co-host correctly, folks. They go to a blockbuster current movie and walk out halfway through. That's the whole concept of Walkout Boys. It's half a review of the first half of the movie that they've seen, and then it's an improv based on what they think might happen in the second. Watch two great comedians at their finest review cultural content that's relevant to your life. Walkout Boys, available on the Little Empire podcast.
I'm furious. Tom's taking a selfie.
I just had to remember this.
It's all gone wrong. Maybe just to try and inject some normalcy and positivity into the conversation. Tom, could you please share with us your shining light, the best moment from We Are Your Friends for you this week?
Sure thing, Guy.
Listen to you stall for time.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is how I answer every question and have answered them. Why, I remember the first time I answered such a question. I don't know. For me, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but the only time I got starstruck last Melbourne Comedy Festival was hearing you guys, when I was talking to Guy and Tim, you ran up in the street and I heard you guys talk to each other for the first time, and I got genuinely starstruck. I genuinely had a moment where I was like, "Oh my god, it's them!" I had that thought.
And look at us now.
And look at us
Fucking
now.
adorable.
So that's a shining light.
That's beautiful. I mean, it's certainly not relevant to the question that was asked, but it's certainly warmed the cockles of my heart.
Oh.
Now, please, if you could, in as much detail as possible, tell me what you enjoyed about the film We Are Your Friends, and stop stalling for time, you piece of shit. You're meant to be good at improv.
He did well, though.
I'm great at improv. I'm terrible at recall. I've still got... My show's been going for 2 months. It's nominated for a Barry, and I've still got my set list taped to the wall.
Part of the charm.
Yeah. My favourite part of We Are Your Friends... fuck me. What was it? I think it was a moment that I think Guy is not going to let me live down a bit, which was, you know, that scene where they get home from the restaurant, do James Reid and Somali, and and Somali reveals with a glum happy birthday that she's left a birthday cake for James Reid in the fridge. Mm-hmm. And Guy, do you want to...
Oh, well, Tom, they start eating it out of their hands like the animals they are. And Tom was like, I like that. I don't understand how that's not endearing. Like, I think that's...
I said the sentence, that's what I would do. And then continued to watch in silence for a few seconds. And then said, I don't understand how that isn't endearing.
And then I laughed hysterically, and Tom Walker's stupid fucking face. Someone who gets walkouts from every show.
Every single show.
I don't understand why this isn't working. Why doesn't everyone like the things I like? The arrogance of the man.
Oh, that beautiful woman isn't enjoying that man who's acting how I think I would. This is a poorly written film. to have Emily Ratajkowski not enjoy the act of a man who's acting in a way I empathise with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, maybe you're one of those. There are some people who I think
idiots,
really good comedians, and it's because they've got an artistic mind and they could have put that to some other uses. But maybe you're one of those dudes who you could only be a comedian because you're actually not quite right. And like your perception of what is normal and all good and acceptable is not correct. And the rest of us find it funny, whereas it's actually just your world and inner workings that you're putting on display for people.
It's just a relief that you found a platform to be acceptable within.
Yeah, I've got to go with you on that one. So yeah, my shining light was that piercing moment of introspection, courtesy of We Are Your Friends.
Well, it's good to be open to learning about yourself. My shining light, if I may, I'm going to need your help here as well, actually, Tom, because it was a moment that I caught in the film that I've rewinded to enjoy. Or I think I spotted something
during the PCP sequence.
Oh, yeah. It's not a shining light. It's just a petty little detail that I felt like was a real big win for Montgomery. Before the PCP scene, when they arrive and James Reed from the Feelers reveals to Zacole that they're on PCP, the music, you know how it slows down? It's like, ding. And this is meant to be, I can't remember if it's non-diegetic, is the sounds that are happening within the film.
When they turn up, there's just like the sound of an art gallery.
Yeah, and the music that's playing, or there's meant to be the suggestion of music, but in the background of one of the shots you can see the two DJs dancing really hard out while there's no music playing, and I was very pleased that I saw another glitch in the Matrix.
Guy said out loud, now I can finally bring this movie down.
Wait a minute, sorry, so what was the DJ doing or not doing?
So the two female DJs at the art gallery party, there's no music playing and they're dancing, and it was humiliating for them. And I feel like this is the moment that we need to really, get the knives out and turn them on We Are Your Friends. A film which, for 40 weeks prior, I mean, it's been a pretty even wrestle.
I've got a similar moment that I noticed this week as well, Guy, and Tom. I don't know why I just purposefully didn't include you in that.
It's what I deserve.
That preface to this comment. When Zacole and James Reed from the Feelers are going, they're backstage. This is right at the end of the movie when Zacole's about to take the stage and introduce the world to the worst song that's ever been constructed.
Oh, the best.
And the first bit, the crowd are going fucking nuts. You can't see them, but you can hear them. They're going ballistic. And I'm left to wonder, what happened? What just happened? Because we know there's no music playing, there's no act on stage. So something's happened in that crowd which was visible enough that everyone could react to it. You reckon someone was killed?
Oh man, if you've got a lot of people in an American Apparel car park and they're all chanting in spite of the fact that there's nothing obviously that's happening, that usually means human sacrifice, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Who do you think they sacrificed?
I mean, it could be anyone really. Probably just the lowest status person at the festival. I imagine someone wearing closed-toe sandals, which I guess are slippers.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because when is a closed-toe sandal not a slipper?
When it's at a music festival. And I think that the staunch defense that was suggested by the person wearing the closed-toe sandals is probably what antagonized the crowd and goaded them into killing them.
Guy, I'm just taking my socks off.
Oh, man.
It's getting a bit hot.
Yeah, it's getting real hot. Surprisingly so, given the details of I guess it's the two bodies in the bed. Hey, can I suggest another thing to you, Tim?
You go on then.
Can you and I and Tom, do you want to climb under the duvet over here, Tim? Get in real nice and cozy, because we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting sentimental with James Reed. Be interesting to hear how that one comes out. I won't listen, but someone will. Now, Tom, you're familiar. You sang the song. It suggests to me that you know what we're about to do. Each week, James Reed presents a gift to Zacole that is contained within a MacBook Pro box, and it is given under the pretense of being both sentimental and self-serving. would you perhaps like to take a stab in the dark as to what might be in that box this week?
Oh, certainly. What's in that box? Why, it's nothing more than a glossy 8x10 of our friend James Reed himself.
Is it signed, Tom?
It's unsigned, but then it comes with a Sharpie, and when he opens the box, James Reed says, "Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you." He just signs it without being asked, with a flourish, and he makes sure to ask Zacole his name.
I love that.
That is such a power play.
Just a series of power plays on top.
Tom
one
Walker,
on top of each other.
Can you describe the photo itself, the image? Is it just your standard headshot, or is he in a pose, or what?
Yeah, sure. It's there's 4 images spliced onto one, similar to Krusty the Clown's Silly Sailor, classic headshot. The first one shows a James Reed in repose. The second, him cupping his chin and looking at the camera, sentimental, appropriately enough. The third one, visibly erect. And in the fourth one, he's standing by an open grave.
Wow. That went from being like just a power play to telling, like it's communicating so much.
I enjoyed that a lot.
It turned into a comic strip, didn't it?
Yeah, wow, that's a real story. Oh man. Well, hey, I gotta say, Tom,
Yes.
I love
Yes.
both of you, but I've actually I've got to go. I've got a comedians FIFA tournament to get to.
It's just maybe Tom and I will just keep going then.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
just going from one completely useless thing to another. You've got a day robbed of any import on this beautiful Monday. You're going to a video game tournament for comedians on the day you started off watching We Are Your Friends.
yeah, when you put them one on top of the other, it doesn't sound great. But this was the
Guy, when
disgusting
you get
cheap
to-
tequila, and the FIFA is the refreshing Coors Light that I wash it down with afterwards.
when you get to the pearly gates and St. Peter says, "What have you done to deserve being up here?" What are you even going to answer?
I made a difference. That's all I'll answer.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty strong
Throw
sell.
that out.
By,
and then-
by the eye, you will be in hell. Like you'll have taken a second to scroll through your Twitter, seen your bio, and gone, "Oh, him."
What you want to do is go up to St. Peter and you say, "Hey, when you and God are jacking each other off, do you take turns, or is it more of a simultaneous kind of a thing?" And then wallop him right on the chin and then just walk into the gates. No one will stop you.
Could God make a sound so epic not even he could sample it?
Not with his Samsung S3.
Oh, God.
It's a great phone.
We laugh, don't we? We love to have some laughs and good times. Tom, this will be going out sometime this week. So do you have any shows you'd like to promote either here in Melbourne or moving forward?
I'll be at the Sydney Comedy Festival. It's called Bee-Boo. But I'd like to put a shout out to my friend Eleanor, who put me onto the podcast in the first place and just got accepted. She's a PhD student. She's finally going to go to Princeton.
Holy shit.
She's really doing
God.
things with her life, guys.
It sounds like she stopped listening maybe, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, she really put her nose to the grindstone. And it turns out when you're not listening to people watch We Are Your Friends or doing it yourself, you can really get stuff done.
It's the only
God damn
barrier to great human achievement. Tim, you?
I'm going to be in Sydney as well, actually, in addition to Auckland and Wellington, and I've done nothing to try and promote it. So please go to timbat.co.nz and buy tickets and bring friends. It's
Beautiful.
Timbat with 2 T's. on bat. There's 3 T's in total because Tim's got a T as well. So it's three T's in total, 2 at the end of bat, B-A-T-T, T-I-M-B-A-T-T.
www.3tsintotal.co.nz/Timbat.
We got too many T's. We're trying to sell them up here at three many T's.
I guess it's
Welcome
if
to
you're using-
T3, Timbat's Tea Store. The
you're using
T
like
stands
an
for
old-
Timbat's TT.
If you're using an old Netscape Navigator or something, I guess it's 2 more T's than that because you got to put the HTTP
Oh my
in.
God, I want to die.
Fuck's sake, man. I still have a plug to go and you just stopped everyone from listening.
I'm just here to fuck you up for your FIFA tournament. Off you go, guy. Take the reins.
Please come along. I've still got 6 shows at the Melbourne Festival. It's called Let's All Get in a Room Together. And then I'm doing Wellington, Auckland, and Sydney also. Head along to guymontcomedy.com/shows for tickets. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, Tom. It was really good fun.
Oh, hey, sorry, in the middle of this, thanks. We're also doing the worst idea of all time in Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
That's important.
Oh, really?
We're doing a live show in Sydney, I think, on Sunday. Was it 17, 18, 19? I think it's Sunday the 20th of May or whatever that day, that Sunday is. That's when it's happening. If you look it up, if you look up Worst Idea of All Time Sydney Comedy Festival, you'll find it. Yeah, thanks a lot, Tom. You have a good time?
Oh, yeah, I had a wonderful time. Thanks for having me in the bed, Guy.
Hey, it's no worries. And Tim, I hope you're all right over there, man.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Guy Montgomery. You're a real piece of shit.
See ya.
Bye.
This movie's still fine.
Zacole, pasta.
One of the guys that goes screw. One of them's a hottie. His name is Jay. One of them looks like Johnny Depp, and his name is Johnny Depp.
Classic Maximum Joseph.
You forget that films are supposed to have a point. Thanks for listening to this Little Empire podcast. We've got live shows happening in the New Zealand International Comedy Festival powered by Flick Electric Co. So go to comedyfestival.co.nz and buy tickets now. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this show, maybe you should listen to Boners of the Heart with Rose Matafeo and Alice Sneddon.
Basically, on this podcast, we speak on all things about celebrities, people in the atmosphere, in the ether that we would like to have sex with, and I mean not sex with. You know what? Make love, or be in love with, or go on a date, or kiss for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just sex. It's not just sex.
Maybe sex but no kissing, or maybe kissing but no sex. Maybe
sex but no kissing.
Maybe
Ooh.
only butt stuff.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Oh, just butt stuff.
Yeah.
just
maybe
butt stuff.
only foot stuff.